Hi guys, so we're back in the museum, still doing our quarantine, social distancing, and today we're going to do a little mini tour and talk to David.
How come you're always on my side?
We jump back and forth. Today we're going to look at his G.I. Joe collection, and he has a good little collection. Tell us about your G.I. Joe. When did you start collecting G.I. Joe?
Well, I had one when I was a little kid, and my mother hated it, and she destroyed it. It was this guy.
Okay, hold on.
And she tore him apart. Somebody gave it to me, and she destroyed it. And years later, in a toy shop in the 80s, I found this in the late 80s, like 88, 89. Box is kind of rough, but he's unplayed with.
It's the same as that other guy.
Yeah, a little bit different. You can see the pattern's a lot richer on him.
Yeah.
So I bought it, and I still have it. And that got me spun off into collecting G.I. Joes. I don't have too many on display. I have some more, but I have mostly 70s Adventure Team bodies, and I have mostly 60s America's Movable Fighting Man outfits.
Okay.
So I don't want to put the wrong outfits on the wrong body types.
So these are the 60s Joes?
Yeah, 60s.
And these ones up here too?
Yeah, those are the originals.
Okay.
This is this outfit is really tough to find. The Mickey Mouse boots done in the classic boot style like this, because they changed the boot entirely. Mustard yellow pants and the gray jacket. That's a very tough set to put together.
So when did the G.I. Joe that everyone know and love now come out?
The ARAH,
Yeah.
like 81.
81. That's when we got like Duke and Scarlet and all of those
3
characters.
3/4 inch. This is how they started. These are all unplayed with.
So do these people have names and backstories like the 80s Joes?
No, that was the big difference.
Oh, okay, so these are just...
You had a premise. You know, this is Army. So Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Some of them could talk. See, Talking Joe. Foreign Soldiers of the World, that's the French Resistance fighter. Stuff like that. And then when they made the Adventure Team, because the Vietnam War made G.I. Joe unpopular, you ended up with this. They flocked to the hair, and they made them adventurers instead of soldiers.
Okay.
So you had Land Adventurer, he's technically a Land Adventurer, but he's Black Adventurer. Sea Adventurer had red hair.
Who are these guys?
Yellow hair had the was the Air Adventurer. It's just different outfits. You could buy different outfits for him. They came in a basic, like he came in a sailor uniform, or I'm sorry, a pilot's uniform. The redhead came in a sailor's uniform. This is like the Search for the Mummy's Tomb, or whatever, a secret agent, which is a tough one to put together because of the briefcase, which is intact.
Oh, that's
It's
stuck
got
in
the
it.
little radio and the scope and everything are still in there.
Okay.
So you just bought outfits for him and dressed him up like a doll, basically.
Okay. So when did you move over to these guys? Are these original?
Yeah. Carter G.I. Joes and the KMTs, which most people have never even seen. KMT in 1982 through under license from Hasbro made a series of jewelry.
Okay.
And those are pretty tough to find. I used to have, again, just like with the original 60s and 70s Joes, I used to have a massive collection of these as part of the collection that I lost some years ago.
Okay.
So I don't have much left.
And what's the first collectible you ever had?
What do you mean?
Like the first figure that jumped off your collection.
I just showed it to you. This very box.
Oh, this very one.
Yeah, this is the one that started me on the toys, because I collected comics, but this is the one that got me going on toys, and I still had all of my my ARAH G.I. Joes that I collected as a kid, but You know, I wasn't thinking of it in terms of a collection. And those are those ones that are sitting down in the corner. All those loose ones are my original.
Let's go over
Joes
here and see.
that I got myself. I got those as a child. Nobody bought those for me.
Ooh. Do you have a favorite, Joe?
Actually, I kind of like,
This guy?
yeah.
Do you like this grouping or the 60s grouping better? Or is it so much different that you can enjoy both equally?
Yeah, I mean, they're drastically different. G.I. Joe's gone through a lot of changes. There's only 3 changes that anyone recognizes, but they've been through more. You know, there's the America's Movable Fighting Man from the 60s, the Adventure Team in the 70s, and then the ARAH series up to about 1990-ish. 1987 to 1989 is when people started losing interest because it got really weird. But they've been through other changes like the Super Joe series and the Atomic Man series in the 70s that nobody really paid attention to, and G.I. Joe Extreme, which no one wants to recognize. They were terrible articulation. Those were 90s. G.I.
Right.
Joe Extreme and stuff like that people are like, oh, that doesn't count. Well, yeah, it kind of does, but nobody wants them. Or the Sergeant Savage series, which actually weren't bad figures. They were just bigger versions of the ARAH because they were fully jointed.
What do you think about them coming back? They got a new wave that was announced at the recent Comic-Con. What do you feel about
the
that?
The 6-inch ones. I mean, they look okay. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't actually seen one in person, but it's nice and it's what collectors have wanted, and it's really just Hasbro kind of tapping in on that and more so taking advantage of the adult collectors market by giving them the same thing again, just in a different scale.
Well, that's pretty much what everybody's doing,
that's
isn't
what
it?
they're all doing right now. All of these toy companies. That's what they're doing. Is these are from the Gentle Giants. I actually really like those. They only made 4.
And you have 3, so you just need one more.
Yeah, the other one's a convention exclusive.
Oh, you ain't getting that.
No, that one's pretty tough to find.
Right.
But that's what all these toy companies are doing now, is like tapping into the adult collector market nostalgia, because kids, for the most part, aren't buying this stuff anymore.
And they really don't make anything, I believe, and you know, I could be wrong, it's all opinions. Anything like that still have that same feel. You don't have any cartoons on now.
No.
And the ones that are on, it's like, oh.
Well, not only that, but they made them for specifically the adult collectors market. They're not really toys in that respect. They're not made to be played with. You can pose them if you take them out, but you can't really play with them. They're not durable. A lot of them are really fragile, like the Mezcos over there, the 12 scale Mezcos. They're not toys. They're little models, basically. And so it doesn't feel like it. Plus, one thing that I'm always on about is artwork on packaging. Vintage packaging always had great artwork, and they don't anymore. This is weird because the toy is pictured on the sides, but not the front. This is Mego. Nice going, Mego. They advertised the action figures on the front instead of the actual toy. I don't know why they did that. This one, they did it right.
Oh.
But yeah, you look at some of these things. That's the Pentor.
Boy, his head is heavy.
Yeah, that's the extra head, the bonus head for the deluxe version. But, you know, they don't make toys that have any durability. They don't make, a lot of them don't bother with packaging art, or if they do, it's minimal. With the exception of reaction figures from Super 7, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Because the figures are terrible, but the card art is great. And
Yeah.
that's what you remember the most. I mean, look at this. Look at the card art on some of these. They really worked hard on some of this stuff. Or the Welcome Back Cotter. I mean, it's the same image on every card, but look at that. That's like an oil painting.
Yeah.
It's really well done.
Yeah, they did take some time. And
Yeah,
that's what
and then these I just did a showcase on these not too long ago. Look at these paintings.
yeah.
That's some work.
Yes, they took a lot of time in the olden days. Now they just throw it in.
They just put it in a box. There's no art. They don't care. It's like, oh, it's for the adult collector's market, and we're just tapping into your nostalgia.
Yeah.
And so, back to your question. I mean, I think that's all Hasbro's really doing. And so I don't know how I quite feel about it. Plus, as much as I might like those, I still prefer the vintage stuff. Were you looking at my quiz kid?
Yeah, I'm just looking around as you're talking.
I had that when I was a kid. That's why I got it again.
Oh, okay.
That's unplayed with, that quiz kid. Some poor kid got that for Christmas or something and never used it. It's a cool little electronic item from back in the day when electronic items were a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a calculator, but it doesn't even have a readout. Well, if you have to put the answer in yourself, and if it's correct, the light will turn green, and if you're wrong, the light will turn red.
That's trial and error for you.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Well, and then you have a little G.I. Joe chair here.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
I don't know. I guess we bought it from Goodwill.
Found it in the trash. No, actually, you know where this came from.
We bought the chair from Goodwill, and then I covered it for you.
Yeah, she made the seat covers for me.
Yeah. Then go with your little Goodwill. I mean,
See?
G.I. Joe. Your little G.I. Joe stuff. Okay. Well, we just wanted to do a little mini tour, and for the next few days while we're on lockdown,
Yeah, right, whatever.
we'll do little mini tours of both of our sides. We'll just pick a section or a line. Like today we picked the G.I. Joe line on David's side, and we talked about it. So we'll be doing that. So eventually you'll see everything in the room as we slowly go around and we talk about it and, get a little in depth.
Are we going to see Lady Pop Hunter on the camera?
No, you'll see.
Why
You'll
not?
hear me behind the camera.
But, I mean, you have like this infectious smile. If I smile, people get nervous. So, see? You smile and people are like, oh, that's so charming.
So I think that's it for today. We went through all of the G.I. Joe.
Well, I mean, I have a ton of stuff in the bin, but it's all, like I said, it's a bunch of naked bodies and a bunch of bagged outfits. But
Okay.
they don't go together.
Oh, we'll look at that another time. All right. Well, until the next video, y'all stay clean and safe.
Yeah, okay.